Hello guys, today we're going to be making okra ogbono soup. So hi guys, so in this video we're going to be making okra ogbono soup. So in front of you are some of the ingredients I'm going to be using. We have our dry catfish here in front of you, which I'm going to wash very well in a minute with salt and hot water. You also have the frozen meat, which I bought fresh and put in the freezer yesterday. So that's goat meat and beef. So I'm going to be defrosting that and boiling it, and that's what I'll be using for my soup. And then also we have scotch bonnet pepper, and we have onions, and we have okra, and also we have crayfish and palm oil. And then we also have the star of the show, which is the ogbono. So this is the ogbono that I'll be using today. So I don't really like the blended one that is blended together. I just feel it has a bitter aftertaste, but that's just my own preference. So I prefer to use this because this is what my mom used, and this is what I grew up seeing her use. So that's what she still uses. So that's what I'm going to be using for this soup. I'm also going to be using Maggi cubes for seasoning. So let's start cooking, guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of hot water from the kettle into the meat, and then put some onions. I'm using red onions today. I'm going to use it to season the meat while it's cooking. So I'm going to put some of that. I'm going to chop it into little pieces and put in the meat, and then I'm going to put some salt. So I'm chopping the onions into little pieces, not too big and not too small, that I'll put into the meat. So I'm using half of the onion, and then that half I am going to use to flavor the oil before I cook the soup. So half is going into the meat to boil it, and the rest half I'm going to use for seasoning the oil. I'm also adding some salt so I can put this meat to boil on the fire. Next, I am putting the ogbono into a bowl, as you can see, and to that I'm going to add boiling water to the bowl. So what that will do is soften it, so the back of the ogbono, this brown thing, will then soften and fall off. So when it falls off, I will rinse it again many times and then blend it. So guys, I decided to use 2 packs because it's a big pot of soup I am making. We have to be generous with our ogbono. So guys, what I'm doing here is washing the dry catfish very, very thoroughly. First of all, have to wash it under the hot water tap to remove any dust or any sand first. I have to do that first. I'll do that like as many times as possible, and then next I will then use salt and hot water and wash it, and try to take as much of the bones from the fish as possible. Although it's not possible to take away everything, but I will try as much as possible to take most of it off. So as you can see, I'm adding salt to wash it properly. So I'm washing it now very, very well. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what's going to go into the soup. But with catfish or any fish at all, it's always good to wash it thoroughly. So as you can see, I'm now taking out all the bones and all the sides of the fish I don't need, because we don't need those bits. So we only need the flesh of the fish, and anything that is not needed is going to be thrown away. So I'll continue doing this, and then I'll be back. So that's the fish. It's now very clean, thoroughly washed. So now, as you can see, I'm putting the boiling water into the ogbono like I said earlier. So I'm going to leave that to soak for about 5-10 minutes. So with this soup, there's a lot of multitasking involved, a lot of process involved, but the end result will be worth it. So what you can see in my bowl is my okra, which has been washed a few times. So what I'm going to do is take off the I've taken off the head, and I'm taking out the tail, and I'm going to slice it 4 ways. So this is how I'm cutting this okra. As you can see, I slice it 4 ways, and then I'm chopping it into little pieces. So I'll continue doing this until I finish cutting all the okra. So as you can see, the okra has been chopped. So what I'm doing again is just chopping it extra so it can be extra slimy in the soup. So we'll go to the next step. So I'm putting it in a bowl, ready for the next step, and then I'll go to see if my ogbono has been softened so I can blend it. So as you can see, the ogbono is softened. The back is coming off easily, as you can see. So I'm going to rinse it from that water and put in the small bowl as you can see in front of you. Then later on, I'm going to give it another wash 2 or 3 times before I then blend it for the soup. I'm now ready to blend my ogbono. As you can see, I'm putting it into the blender, and I'm also going to add a little bit of water to make it easy for my blender to blend. So I'm adding warm water. But if you don't want to add warm water, you can add cold water, but I won't advise to add hot water. So I'm blending it now. I want it to be really smooth, very, very smooth. So I'm going to be using it for my soup. And that's how smooth I want it for this soup. I have some habanero pepper, or as you call it, scotch bonnet pepper. I'm pounding in my mortar, which is going to go into this soup. So I'm going to continue doing that. Next, I have my pot that I'm going to use for this soup on the fire. The meat is already boiled, so I've taken it out and put in another bowl. So I am now ready to cook this soup. So very soon I'm going to be adding some palm oil to this pot until it's hot. But I'm not going to be bleaching the palm oil. I'm not going to be making it too hot. So I'm putting the oil right now into the pot, and then I'll let it be hot, be a little bit hot, but not too hot, before adding the rest ingredients that I'm going to do. So that's the oil in the pot. So the oil is now hot, so I'm now adding the chopped red onions into the oil and just stirring it a little bit so it can be a bit translucent. So after that, I've now added, what you can see in the pot is the ogbono that I blended. So I'm giving that a very good stir, and I'm just going to leave that to boil for a few minutes. So it's been 20 minutes. So I'm now adding the stock from the meat into the ogbono mixture with the oil and the onions. I'm just giving that a stir. So I'm going to keep doing this till it starts to thicken. So that's what I'll do. I'll just keep stirring it, and then you'll see the consistency will then change. So as you can see, after about 15 minutes, it's already starting to bubble up. That means it's already coming together. So next, what I'm adding now is 2 teaspoons of crayfish into this soup. So next, what I'm adding is 1 teaspoon of chicken stock powder, or bouillon powder as it's called. So I'm giving that a very good mix. As you can see, the soup is coming together. It's already starting to be slimy, which is the way we want our ogbono soup to be, nice and slimy, as you can see in front of you guys. So I'm going to keep mixing that before adding the rest ingredients. So next thing I'm adding is my meat into the soup. So I didn't fry this meat, neither did I put in the oven, because it's a slimy ogbono soup. I don't like to fry my meat when it's ogbono soup. I just put it like that, you know. So it's in the soup now, so I'm just gonna leave that to boil for about 15 minutes. So it's been 15 minutes, and I'm adding the fish, the smoked catfish that I washed earlier. Why I'm adding the fish towards the end, because I don't want to be looking for fish in the soup. That's why I didn't add it first. I added the meat first before adding the fish. So I'm giving that a gentle stir and leaving that for a few minutes. But I'm not going to cover it so it doesn't sweat and stop drawing. So last thing I'm going to add is the okra, which you can see. So I'm going to give that a stir into the soup. Oh, and look at this soup is coming together. Oh my God, I cannot wait to eat this soup. So I'm giving that a very good stir so everything can be combined. And then I'm just going to leave it to boil for a few minutes and the soup will be ready. Look at this soup. It's nearly ready. I'm just giving it a stir. Can you see how it's looking? That's how ogbono soup is supposed to look. It's drawing and it's slimy and it's almost ready. Very soon I'll be switching it off. And it's ready. So guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.